It's on DJ International TV, so we're bringing you the best of Miami. Now I've got a record on Beatport at the moment called Deep Water with the Dominators. It's a co-production, and with me now is Tony Byrne from the Dominators. So two guys from England in Miami. Fancy meeting here. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Dave. It's always good to get out here in the sunshine and the music. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it.
So why is Miami special to you then?
Well, it's just always the place to come at the beginning of the season to try and break new dance music, listen to new styles, new tunes that are coming through, and as I say, everybody's here, so you're meeting old faces, new DJs, new music, and as I say, it's the time to come and find new tunes and go to great parties and have a fantastic.
So Tony, tell us how the whole Miami experience has changed over the years, because you came to these events way back in the day when it first started, and it's moved on a lot. It's so big now.
Yeah, I mean, I came, I think, to the first winter music conference that was outside of America, where they started inviting people from Europe and the UK. I think that was 1994. It was at the Fontainebleau, and I was working with Moby at the time and quite a lot of other labels, and you know, there was literally a handful of DJs, you know, Josh Wink around the pool, Moby up in the room, but you know, lots of DJs, lots of producers, record labels, and essentially, you know, hanging out, swapping white labels and building tunes from the ground upwards. Really, it was, again, you know, the place to come to if you wanted to kind of exchange ideas in music, and then the parties started happening more and more. I mean, in the early days it was again a handful of labels who were putting on parties, but then there was a receptiveness from the clubs, from the hotels. A friend of mine, Andy Bailey, and I started putting on parties at the National in about '96, and it kind of snowballed from there. We defected, we did a kind of 20 years of my company, Single Minded Promotions. We did Positiva, lots of different kind of labels, and then it's just kind of grown and grown, really. I mean, obviously the different styles, you know, back then it was very much a house thing, and then the drum and bass thing started, so there's lots of Ronnie Size and like different labels, Sound of the Underground Records and Shy Effects, and that kind of thing happened, and then obviously the whole kind of Ibiza movement, and you know, obviously Timo, Mass, Paul Oakenfold, lots of different DJs started to kind of put on their own nights and just build up their identity with their own label, like with Sanchez, Eric Murillo. That became the sort of real, you know, they were the figureheads who kind of, Danny Tenaglia, started doing parties all the time to kind of build the thing up, really.
So it's interesting, when it started here, this is pre-internet, you know, you couldn't send a file with your record on it, so people used to come here, like DJs from the UK and record companies, and physically get it wasn't even a finalised press record, they cut what was called an acetate and give you this copy, and then you take it back to your country and start playing, and that's how the scene kind of evolved, and you got what were called Miami records, actual hit records that came out of this event. But now it's all about, obviously, downloads and the internet and big parties, but it's a lot of fun.
I mean, because of the time of year, it was perfect, really, because March is the time where you're looking to break records and build records for Ibiza. So March, again, you were looking for big tunes over here, and what was the tune that you were hearing in every club, and also you were bringing records with you to try and break. I mean, I remember bringing a bag of you know, a record bag full of Kings of Tomorrow, finally, which I just started promoting for a label called Distance at the time, giving them out to all the key DJs, and by the end of it, you're like, oh my God, the record was kind of blowing up a little bit, but obviously this was the kind of tipping point where if people were on the record, especially, you know, the radio DJs and the big club names, then you know you had a big record. So there was the Black Legend, the Kings of Tomorrow, different records at different times, Shapeshifters. All of them had a kind of moment, and this is usually where the moment started. And then you build it through Ibiza, and then usually what tended to happen was the end of the summer, the September was when your big record crossed over. Now, of course, it's so much more immediate, because even before the DJs get here, they've had like SoundCloud links, or they've downloaded the tracks, and there's more of an immediate buzz rather than going around with a sack full of tunes, you know, like back in the day. But obviously, it's the whole EDM scene has just taken a whole different, dance music to a whole different level. When we used to come, there was like, buses almost with billboards on the side, which were a lot of big hip-hop artists, Dr. Dre or kind of, Snoop Dogg, whereas now you'll see Avicii, the way David Guetta and stuff like that. So that's how much it's changed, obviously. Everybody's aware of that, but it's very difficult to kind of think back to the way it was right back in the beginning.
So finally then, it is party season. We're going to be showing you some clips of some of the big parties that are going on in Miami this week in 2014. What are you most looking forward to in the next few days, apart from having a few beers with me?
Just the variety of parties. Nikki Beach is always good. The Delano, we're off to a party there later. The national parties are always good. The kind of hotel parties I like during the day. It's great to get to, the clubs like Cameo and Live in the evening, but some of the daytime pool parties with, all the hot babes and the bikinis and the great music with the DJs. It's just a completely different, fun atmosphere, and it's all about fun while you're working, and a few drinks.
That sounds good. All right, more Miami parties on the way on DJ International TV.